How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the NBA, the National Basketball Association, having their lowest rated finals game in recorded history, going all the way back 26 years ago to 1994 when they first recorded that statistic. Now, this, in my humble opinion, is what happens when you go woke. You're going to go broke. Now, before I go down that rabbit hole of why this is happening and Black Lives Matter and everything else, let's talk about the current NBA Finals compared to previous NBA Finals. Now, right now, you have the LA Lakers featuring LeBron James and the Miami Heat featuring Jimmy Butler and some other random people playing in the finals. The first game of the series brought in 7.41 million viewers. Now, compare that to last year's NBA Finals when you had the Golden State Warriors playing the Toronto Raptors. They brought in 13.51 million viewers. So 13.51 all the way down to 7.41. Why is there this big decrease? You're talking about almost 50% drop off in viewership. What's really going on? And before I continue, they were saying that last year's numbers were very low. And the excuse back then was, oh, it's no LeBron James, and you got a Canadian team in the Toronto Raptors playing. So that was the excuse back then. But what's the excuse now? LeBron James, like I said, is playing in the series, and you have two American teams. As a matter of fact, LeBron used to play for the Miami Heat back during the peak ring chasing days, but different story. I'll talk about that a little bit later. What's the excuse now? Is it court cutting? Well, if you look for this particular story on the internet, they'll say court cutting and people just watching highlights on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, and they're trying to appeal to the Chinese market. All of those things are true. I'm not trying to say they're not. That does play a part in the lowering of ratings that's been going on for a long time, not just recently in 2020, but it's not going to account for the big drop from last year, because all of the above things were going on last year and the year before that, probably for the past 5 to 10 years. Ever since smartphones and internet became more prevalent, you're going to see less TV viewership. People are cutting the cord. That's not going to account for a 40 to 50% drop in viewership in NBA Finals. So what's really going on? Well, there's a few things. The most obvious thing is the virus. Okay, that can't really be denied. Although you have other sporting events that didn't do that badly considering the virus. Remember that whole golf tournament with Peyton Manning and Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and Tom Brady? That did very well. I think I got 9 to 10 million views on the one-off. So why can't the NBA match that? What's really going on? All right. The virus, if people are still kind of quarantined or kind of scared to go out, they can't really go places, they're going to be home and they're going to watch sports or do something. You can't blame court cutting. You can't blame China. You can't blame social media. So what's really happening? Like I said from the beginning, I think when you go woke, you go broke. Look at what the NBA is doing. You got Black Lives Matter emblazoned on the basketball court. You got Black Lives Matter and other socially aware and so-called woke phrases on their jerseys. You got an anti-police sentiment. They did stage a walkout over the whole thing with Jacob Blake in Milwaukee, because my team, the Milwaukee Bucks, been my team since I've been in high school. We're talking about 20-something years. They walked out of a game to protest over Jacob Blake. Now, I don't understand this whole thing since they come back from the virus and the so-called bubble, which is kind of a problem as well, because who wants to watch, no players in the stands? You're in one place. You got, TV screens with people's faces on it. It's not the same kind of game. It's weird. And it's off season. You got the NFL going on right now. Usually the NBA finals are not competing with the NFL, but different story. I digress. You have all that going on to protest. You have the bubble, and then people are having the Black Lives Matter and stuff in the bubble. That should be enough for your protest. But no, you want to stage a walkout. You're alienating a big part of your base. Okay, you got the woke phrases, that's strike one. And then strike two, you got it in the wrong time of the year. And then strike three, you got guys that are complaining, talking about they don't want to go. Some guys opting out. The quality of play ain't the same. They're not taking it very seriously. It's just a whole lot of other stuff going on. And then the general decline of the NBA anyway. People like LeBron James messing it up. You got all that going on and you want to walk out. people are not going to watch. All right. You're alienating your base. You're alienating the conservative person who does not like Black Lives Matter, who's not into all this woke stuff, who might not even really want to have all that woke stuff just crammed in their face when they're watching the game. I'm a very political person. I enjoy politics 24/7. I eat it, I sleep it, I breathe it. All right. I do videos on it, I write on it, I read on it every day almost. Even when I'm off, I'm still kind of in it. But maybe I want a break. Just maybe. Can I get a break? Don't I deserve one? Just for being a human being, just one break where I can watch the game and not have to worry about the outside. You bringing the outside stuff into the game, and I wouldn't care if it was conservative politics either. I don't want any politics. I just want to enjoy the game, break away from the pressures of everyday life. But I can't do that because they're putting it right in my face. You're alienating me. And then you get this whole anti-white sentiment. You're alienating them. You're alienating everybody. So, of course, you're going to have lower ratings. You got a bad product because of the timing with the virus. You took a break for a while. You came back, and there's nobody in the crowds. Guys ain't really playing that hard. Some guys didn't even go. The quality of the product ain't the same. Then you got them trying to cater to China to a certain extent. Then you got all the woke stuff. It's just a bad mix that's going to lead to disaster. That's why you got very low ratings. The cord cut and the whatnot is just one piece of it. It's just one piece. Now, I spoke about LeBron James earlier, and I want to kind of circle back to him because he's part of the problem as well. Him and his crew. And when I say crew, I don't mean the team necessarily, the LA Lakers. I'm talking about Clutch Sports, his management, his agents, or whatever, guys that he grew up with. They are interested in creating these super teams around them and also kind of ring chasing, going from place to place, trying to get rings, try to set up big dynasties and whatnot for LeBron James's personal interests. Okay. Clutch Sports, which is, again, LeBron James's people. They're also Anthony Davis's client, his teammate on the LA Lakers. Now, I think this time last year or 2 years ago, he was playing for the New Orleans Pelicans, Hornets, Jazz, whatever they want to call themselves nowadays. He was playing for them. Clutch Sports and LeBron James essentially poached Anthony Davis away from the New Orleans Pelicans. So it's like, all right, you're on a bad team and I get it, but you got a contract here. Okay, are we going to respect contracts anymore? Are we going to respect teams anymore? Are we going to have any teams that can build a thing that will last more than 1 or 2 years? All right, the Chicago Bulls were very good for a very long time. Some would say, oh, ABL, that's a super team too. Well, maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, let me know in the comments. But didn't the Chicago Bulls draft Michael Jordan? All right, didn't they draft him? Didn't they draft Scottie Pippen? It was a draft day trade with the Sonics where they drafted him. So they built that team through the draft and through trades rather than LeBron James coming in and saying, hey, I'm going to go to the Lakers. I don't care about my contract. And over there, I'm going to get him, forget his contract. I'm going to bring in Kevin Love on the Cavaliers when they're coming back. You know, forget his contract. So what? I don't care. It just, the things that he would do were just for himself. And a lot of guys are like that. They're self-serving. What they're doing is smart to an extent because it helps them preserve their finances and look out for their family in the future so they won't be broke after basketball is over. However, a lot of it is just self-aggrandizement. You want to come to LA to try and be a movie star, and you want to poach Anthony Davis to come to the Lakers so y'all can be in Space Jam Part 2 on your days off when you're not practicing or playing in the games or on the off season. It just seems like the personal thing you got going on is more important than the game. And if that's what's going on, then the game will suffer. You might be able to do things that can help you, but you're not seeing the bigger picture. If basketball suffers and you lose revenue and you lose that viewership, then you're not going to be able to maximize your potential and your efforts beyond basketball. The cash is going to go down. If people are not tuning in, they're not watching the games, they don't want to come to the games, they don't like the Black Lives Matter stuff, what's going to be the end result? You're going to have less money, less opportunity. Some of the guys that are trying to come into the league that are trying to scratch and claw will get paid less money up front. Overall, the league as a whole is suffering. And really, it's primarily their fault. It's leadership's fault as well. Shout out to David Stern, may he rest in peace. The new guy, Adam Silver, is a nut. Pretty much just roll over and let whatever happen. All right, David Stern he was able to correct the ship when things got wrong. When Allen Iverson came out and he was wearing dreads and sagging and everything else. And by the way, I'm a big Allen Iverson fan. He's from Virginia, just like me. He's from Newport News. I used to live out there when I was a kid in Newport News, so I know a little bit about it. Shout out to him. But he came in with this kind of thuggish image, although he was not really that. He had that image, so they had to fix that. It's like, okay, let's put on the suit and tie or a jacket or something on the sideline. So it's not like, you guys are out here on the block trying to slang some drugs. So he did things like that that could have been seen as so-called racist, but help improve the league and then improve the lives of the guys that are out there dressing like they about to go sell a pack right quick on the corner. But as I close, I'm going to say this. You have to remove the politics away from the game, not just from the players and the coaches and the staff on the court, but you also got to remove it from the commentators, people like Jalen Rose screaming out, arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor during a live broadcast. I'm not trying to see that, sir. Okay, ESPN, you got Kurt Herbstreit crying, talking about, the black players, they got it so hard. It's like, man, stop. I come here to enjoy the game. All the political stuff, leave it at home, all right? I will leave my political viewpoints at home if you do the same thing. That's the way it should be when we're talking about sports. And until they can learn that, until they can learn to leave their political opinions at home and not have so much politics wrapped up in the game, baked into the game, they will continue to be woke, but also be broke. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that the NBA has cursed themselves with this whole woke experiment they're doing? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or have they not really cursed themselves with this woke stuff they are into? Is it essential to be woke in today's day and age to so-called combat racism? Is it needed? And so what if you lose a few $1 billion in the process every day? So what? It's really worth it. Or is it not even losing the money? Is it gaining the money? If it's gaining the money, I can't tell. 7.41 million compared to 13.51 million. Numbers don't lie at a certain point. Maybe it's a virus, but can you say that the virus would account for a 50% drop in the ratings? Even with the NFL, they only lost like 1 million. I think Sunday Night Football was getting like 20 million viewers last year. Then it got 19. They did do a little bit of woke stuff, but it didn't go totally broke. They didn't fall off like 45% like the NBA did. You guys know where I stand. I think wokeness is destroying sports, not just the NBA, but the NFL to a certain extent, the NHL, Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, all American sports, maybe even around the world. It's ruining it. We don't want to see the political stuff. Left, right, center, and different. We don't want to see it. How about just go out there, play a game, let us enjoy it, have that be it. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.